Transfer and Regional Innovation Department, and Mr. Zhai Lixing, the Director of the Zhongguanchun Administration Committee of Peking University, of Peking Municipality. Now we have the updates. Yesterday, China's mainland reported that for increased confirmed cases, the number is 31. Including 29 of imported cases and 2 indigenous cases, 1 in Liaoning and 1 in Guangdong, respectively. For new fatal cases, there are 4, all of them in Hubei. For new suspected cases, 12, all of them are overseas imported cases. Yesterday, for newly increased cured and discharged cases, the number is 163. Close contacts removed from medical observation numbered 1,990, and the number of severe cases dropped by 50. For overseas importation, the remaining confirmed cases numbered 710, including 19 severe cases. Remaining suspected cases numbered 135. In accumulative terms, there are 870 confirmed cases, 160 cases cured and discharged from hospitals, and there is no fatal case. By the end of yesterday, China's mainland reported that for remaining confirmed cases, the number is 1,727, including 379 severe cases. In accumulative terms, there are 76,571 cases cured and discharged from hospitals, 3,322 fatal cases, 81,620 confirmed cases, and the remaining suspected cases numbered 135. In accumulative terms, 710,985 close contacts are traced, and 19,533 close contacts are still under medical observation. For Hubei province, yesterday there was no new confirmed case, no suspect cases, and no remaining suspect cases. For newly increased cured and discharged cases, all of them are in Wuhan, and the number is 141. For new fatal cases, 4, all of them in Wuhan. For remaining confirmed cases, 987, including 983 in Wuhan. Among these cases, there are 349 severe cases, including 346 in Wuhan. In accumulative terms, the number of cases cured and discharged from hospitals is 63,612, including 46,461 in Wuhan. In accumulative terms, there are 3,203 fatal cases, including 2,563 in Wuhan. For confirmed cases, the number is 67,802, including 50,007 in Wuhan. All the provinces and the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corp reported that for newly increased asymptomatic infections, 60, including 7 overseas imported. There were 7 cases confirmed yesterday. All of them are overseas imported. 101 cases were removed from medical observation, including 5 from the overseas imported, and 1,027 cases are still under medical observation, including 221 overseas imported. In accumulative terms, altogether there are 1,182 cases received reported from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, including 802 from Hong Kong SAR, 41 from Macau SAR, and 339 from the Taiwan region. Yesterday, on April the 2nd, the remaining suspected cases or confirmed cases dropped to less than 2, and both of the cases are related cases for overseas imported cases. Now we can find that the number of related cases with overseas importation is on the rise, and there's still risk of potential spread of the pandemic. So the institutions and the families should guard against the potential spread of the pandemic caused by overseas importation. Now we will have the Q&A of today. Please focus on today's topic and put forward your questions. Please identify yourself. Now the floor is open. First question. On the right, on the front row, the first gentleman, please. Thank you. With CRI, recently, the Ministry of Science and Technology rolled out a policy circular emphasizing the importance of science and technology for work resumption. What is the consideration of such a policy document, and how about its implementation? We will have Vice Secretary General He Defang to take your question. Thank you for your question. Following the CPC Central Committee and the State Council's overall arrangement, Vice Premier Liu He attached great importance to the supporting role of science and technology in work resumption. He has made specific arrangement and guidance, requesting us to do a good job with science and technology development and use the science and technology to facilitate work resumption. We have made efforts in the following two aspects. The first is to plan or to coordinate the implementation of the National Science and Development Project, and we have supported the relevant stakeholders, helping them to get back to normal operation. And secondly, we have studied the various measures to be adopted. We have put forward 18 specific measures covering 9 aspects. We've made a systematic arrangement for such initiative. First, we focus on the sci-tech companies, especially the SMEs. We have implemented the SME Science Innovation Plan and offer them more support. And second, we focus on the high-tech science park and bring into full play their roles in economic development. And we have adopted specific and tailor-made measures to highlight their unique advantages and make proper arrangement for the cluster development. And thirdly, we are adding new impetus to the economic development by promoting science and technology adoption. Firstly, we have mobilized the scientists and technological experts by encouraging them to work for the companies and also the current spring plowing. I'm sure you are quite interested in the implementation of this policy document, and let me report to you the current progress of the implementation. Some of the tasks have already been kicked off, and they've already generated some initial results. We have already set up a one-stop information platform to provide facilitation and policy guidance in work resumption by adopting science and technology. Some of the other tasks are also being promoted. On March the 27th, we initiated the transfer of the scientific and technological results, and the designated personnel are sent to the target regions to facilitate the relevant work.
We are also working on some of the assignments, making plans focus on the high-quality development of high and new tech parks, and the scientists and the technicians will better serve the enterprises development. As we promoted these efforts, we focused on holistic arrangements, leveraging the government and market roles made an overall planning considering the present status and the future plans in 31 provinces, cities, and production and construction corp in Xinjiang. Respective policies have been worked out. 70% of the provincial science and technology bureaus have put forward specific requirements. In the future, we will further enrich the policy measures to accelerate the actual implementation so as to contribute to the economic and social development. Thank you. Next question, please. With the science and technology daily, in the COVID-19 response, some new business formats have played a major role. People purchased daily necessities online, conducted video conferencing, and engaged in online learning. In the nurturing of new industries and new business formats, what will be the focus by Ministry of Science and Technology? I'd like to ask DG Qin Yong to take the question. Thank you for your question. As you have pointed out, in the COVID-19 response, new business forms have played an important role. In particular, internet-based business formats have brought out their advantages in breaking the space and time limits, providing the general public with abundant services, contributing to the assurance of life quality, and showed a great potential for future development. Ministry of Science and Technology has been consistently supporting the development of high and new science and technology. An array of new technologies are being fledged in China in this round of epidemic response. On one hand, the application of new technologies and new digital products have witnessed faster growth. As you have mentioned, remote working, video conferencing, online learning, digital museums, and digital recreational activities are typical examples. Within a short span of time, these digital products and applications have seen a surge of subscribers. Experts have pointed out that the growth was exponential. Big data and artificial intelligence and other technologies have played an important role in COVID-19 response, social governance, and people livelihood services. Such technologies have been adopted by the government quickly and were applied on a large scale. The needs for such technology and the wide and rapid application of the technology will bring about quick, iterative growth of the technologies and in return promote the further growth of the new business formats and new technologies. Down the road, Ministry of Science and Technology will focus on the three following aspects. First, continue to facilitate the frontier technology research, support the key research projects, advanced computing, core softwares, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and optical fiber technologies, support the infrastructure of technology. Second, for the new business formats that have shown good potential for growth, they will get stronger support. New health industry, science support and services, modern logistics, and online education. These new economic impetus will be consolidated and strengthened. Third, we will collaborate with other departments and ministries to work out policies so as to create a sound policy environment for the new science and technology development. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the third row on the right side. Thank you. With the Phoenix TV, we've learned that in the COVID-19 response, some emergency science and research projects have been deployed. How did the Ministry of Science and Technology organize such events? I'd like to ask DG Zhang Xiaoyuan to take the question. Thank you for your question. The COVID-19 has been a major test on the science and technology community of China. In accordance with the deployment of the State Council and the Party Central Committee, Ministry of Science and Technology acted swiftly in organizing the advanced science and technology community to be engaged in COVID-19 response. We've deployed 68 emergency response scientific and technological projects with a total investment of 320 million RMB. We've carried out 4 organizations. First, special matter need to be dealt with specially and quickly. 13 subgroups have been established. 14 experts participated. By academician Zhou Nanshan formed an expert panel to deploy the scientific and technological projects. Once the project was decided, on the day of the decision, funding will be in place. Second, we promoted parallel policies. In face of the unknown emerging COVID-19, we hoped to find the breakthrough point as quickly as possible. That's why we've set up parallel research teams. For example, in the vaccine development, we've deployed 5 technical pathways. For each technical pathway, there are 2 to 3 scientific and research teams who are working on it. Third way of organization was full cycle monitoring and services. 2 to 3 management committees have been set up to have the learning of major problems that have cropped up during the science and research efforts. We've also sent the advanced teams to be resident teams in Wuhan to coordinate the science and technology institutes who are working at the front line. Fourth, we've improved the coordination. Ministry of Science and Technology collaborated with the National Health Commission and CFDA in plasma collection, test reagents, review and approval, and the sharing of research results. We have been collaborating with each other so as to facilitate the rapid implementation of science and research projects. With concerted efforts, we completed the full genome sequencing and the multi-factor identification. The phasal achievements have been in turn given to clinical frontlines. 11 testing reagents, testing kits, and research drugs have been included into the diagnosis and treatment protocol. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the 4th row on the left side. Thank you. With CNR, we know Zhongguancun Demo Park is a flagship high-end new tech park in China. I'd like to ask the resumption of business in Zhongguancun Science Park. I'd like to ask Director Zhai to take the question. Thank you for your interest in the development of Zhongguancun Science Park. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the resumption of business in our park. In accordance with the State Council and Beijing authorities' deployment, we've been focusing on the dual emphasis of epidemic response and the resumption of business. We prioritize the COVID-19 response, in particular the prevention of imported cases and prevention of domestic recurrence. the management committee has been implementing our obligations. Enterprises are also engaged in the accountability system. We collaborated with other authorities to step up monitoring so that we spare no efforts and left no corner unattended.
Second, we help the companies to address problems they encounter in work resumption. For example, we facilitated the access to the medical supplies and the control and the prevention supplies. Also, we have facilitated the accommodation for the companies working in our compound. Also, we have provided the dining services to the companies located in our compound. Moreover, we are helping the companies to gain access to the supply chain. Furthermore, we have brought forward the advantages that we enjoy to facilitate work resumption. Since the outbreak, more than 200 companies in our park have been engaged in the testing kits production and other prevention and control supplies like the AI and smart diagnosis and treatment. All of these new findings or results have been applied to the frontline pandemic control. Also, there are internet-based companies who have provided their services to the society free of charge. According to our data, in January and February, the information technology output has 2.5% increase year on year. Many companies gave up their spring holiday breaks and contributed to the pandemic control. By the end of yesterday, we found that for the companies in our company, the work resumption rate is close to 90%. For the companies which are in our incubation center, work resumption rate is as high as 98.5%. It is fair to say that overall, the companies in our park are accelerating their work resumption. Let's continue our Q&A. On the left, on the fourth row, the first gentleman reporter, please. Thank you. With China News Service. Just now, Mr. Zhai talked about work resumption in your industrial park. Now, in China, we have more than 100 industrial parks. How about their overall work resumption? Also, recently, people are very concerned about the asymptomatic transmission and any particular measures adopted to address this problem. We will have DG Bao Xianhua to take your questions. Okay, just now, Mr. Zhai has talked about the situation in Zhongguancun. Zhongguancun is the first industrial park and the high-tech industrial park in China. With dozens of years of development, it has become the leading industrial park in terms of the science and technology and the human resource development. The Ministry of Science and Education attaches great importance to work resumption in the high-tech industrial parks. As early as in February, we made policy arrangements which cover 8 aspects. And there are specific measures in every aspect. Immediately, we set up an information service platform to facilitate the work resumption of the high-tech industrial parks. We have strengthened information sharing in this regard. On this information platform, altogether more than 300 policies are circulated, guiding the industrial parks to develop their specific plans or response plans against the pandemic. Furthermore, we have released more than 540 scientific findings, helping the companies and high-tech parks to adopt information technology for pandemic response. Also, we have organized companies working in the high-tech park to deal with the issues or difficulties in pandemic control. At the moment, among the companies in the science and the technological response against the pandemic, a quarter of them come from the industrial park that we have been talking about. And the overall work resumption of the high-tech industrial park reached 79%. And for the large-scale companies, their work resumption has been more than 94%. 35 high-tech industrial parks have realized the 100% work resumption. So we can see that for the high-tech industrial parks, they are truly the leading ones in China in terms of the work resumption. For the asymptomatic infection and the conversion back to the positive result of the nucleic acid test, indeed, this is a hot topic. And for these two scenarios, there are many issues which are being studied in an accelerated manner by the relevant stakeholders. I think we need to pay high attention to these problems, but on the other hand, we don't need to be panic, because based on the data up to now, we haven't found any relapsed cases who have caused a substantive spread or a proven spread of the pandemic. Also, in the context of the current rigorous control measures, many experts believe that it is very unlikely that the asymptomatic infection will cause another round of spread of the pandemic. So I believe that so long as we abide by the requirements and adopt a scientific approach to guard against the pandemic and wash our hands and keep social distancing, we can surely balance the work resumption and the pandemic control. Okay, let's continue on the right. On the first row, the third lady reporter, please. Thank you. With CCTV, my question is for the Ministry of Science and Technology. In the pandemic response, we can see that AI has played an important role. So, going along, what are the measures adopted to encourage the adoption of AI? We will have DG Qin Yong to take your question. Thank you very much for your interest and concern about the AI. Indeed, in this pandemic response, many research institutions and companies have actively adopted AI, and they use the AI technology to analyze the situation, screen the potential or the suspected cases, and facilitated diagnosis and treatment. It is fair to say that these AI applications have contributed greatly to the pandemic response. Artificial intelligence is the leading area in the modern science and technology development. It is also a major trend of future development. The Ministry of Science and Technology attaches great importance to the AI development. We have set up priority research projects and the experimental zones for the AI adoption, and also the innovation platforms to encourage the growth of AI. These policies and the measures, on the one hand, have facilitated the rapid growth of AI in China, and also supporting and guiding its growth. And on the other hand, for the society at large, they have also encouraged the broad adoption of AI.
During the COVID-19 response, AI-based products, as mentioned by Director Zhai, AI-assisted diagnostic system, AI-based temperature monitoring system, and AI-based robots have played a major role in the response, yielding great effects. In general, AI technology's usage and application in COVID-19 response and epidemic response is still at its initial stage, but in the long run, it is in the long-term trend. Down the road, Ministry of Science and Technology will continue its support to AI development in the COVID-19 response. We issued a set of guidelines on the support to theory, technology, research, and components of AI. Recently, we will also focus on the development of AI technology for infectious disease control and drug development. Major projects will be set up for research on AI. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the fourth row on the right side, please. Thank you. With Xinmin Evening News, to orderly promote resumption of business, Ministry of Science and Technology has started a thematic program of 2020 science and support. What will be the focus of this project? I'd like to ask DG Zhang Xiaoyuan to take the question. Thank you for your question. This project has got wide attention, providing science and technology support to business resumption. With the handsome funding support from Ministry of Finance, the Science Supporting Economic Development 2020 project have been initiated, which came into being in this unconventional time. This project has 4 distinctive features. First, it focuses on the revitalization of the current economic status, in particular the aspects where we can see immediate returns, and science and research can be very quickly translated into actual outcome. The size was moderate. The implementation cycle will be within 2 years. The second feature is that this project focuses on the support to micro and SMEs. Some favorable policies will go to the hardest hit regions. The project has been initiated. Localities have been applying. Businesses have been applying to be covered by the project. 3,000 plus micro and SMEs will be covered by the project. Flagship companies, high research institutes of higher learnings will partner up with these micro and small businesses. And there will be some demo projects of the application of new technologies so as to bring forward clustered economic growth. The third distinctive feature is innovative organization pattern. Businesses can leverage the online platform and file application of projects online. Ministry of Science and Technology will collaborate with other authorities and local competent authorities to complete the project decision within 3 months. Meanwhile, we also have a quota funding support to micro and small businesses so as to prevail over the temporary difficulties brought by the epidemic. The fourth distinctive feature of this thematic project is that it will play a demo role. It will set examples. We hope local competent authorities will come to work with Ministry of Science and Technology. Local authorities can also adopt similar approaches to leverage science and technology to accelerate resumption of business, accelerate the breakthroughs in some impediments of the economic cycle. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the third row on the left side, please. With Xinhua News Agency, localities are gradually starting spring plowing. What are the considerations by Ministry of Science and Technology in sending scientists and technicians to guide spring plowing? Thank you for your interest in the dispatched scientists and technicians. This is an approach by leveraging scientists and technicians and talents to revitalize the economy in China. 11,500 businesses have received such services. 26,000 projects have been serving millions of rural farmers. On March the 6th, Ministry of Science and Technology issued a policy circular of organizing scientists and technicians to support spring plowing. In face of the major difficulties during the spring plowing, these scientists are dispatched to help the farmers. First, we focused on the technical support provided for spring plowing to improve food production and improve the capacity of disaster preparedness. Second, we've compiled some textbooks and leaflets to be distributed among farmers. Third, these scientists and technicians dispatched to rural areas have helped the local areas to innovate over their production methods and science and technology application, encouraged the innovation by farmers. Fourth, we've improved the online service system. Online training, online question taking helped to address the difficult problems encountered by farmers during their spring plowing. This policy circular was welcomed by Heilongjiang, Henan, Hubei, and many other provinces. Provincial Science and Technology bureaus have issued the policy circulars to mobilize the technicians and scientists so as to help the farmers. Chongqing municipality focused on the fresh products, the spring tea leaves picking. Guangdong province sent 1,000 plus technicians to be engaged in COVID-19 response and the insurance of spring plowing. The most vulnerable households got special guidance and support from the technicians in Zhejiang province. The textbooks and leaflets have been printed and distributed among the farmers. Technologies have been popularized in these provinces. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the second row on the right side. Thank you. National Business Daily, Premier Li Keqiang put forward specific requirement that enterprises should be centered in innovation. SMEs should get special support to be innovative. COVID-19 has been impacting these businesses. What has been the measure adopted by Ministry of Science and Technology to maintain the innovation by businesses and to help the businesses? I'd like to ask DG Bao Xianhua to take the question. Thank you for your question. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, many businesses, including the SMEs, innovative SMEs, got impacted by the COVID-19. However, with their core competitiveness and innovation, such businesses have shown the resilience in development. resumption of business has been positive, and these businesses have been pioneers in the resumption of business. According to our survey in 21 provinces and municipalities, high and new tech businesses have seen a resumption rate of over 90%.
According to our survey on the more than 30,000 SMEs in the high-tech parks, we found that their work resumption rate is 83.3%. The high-tech industrial parks have indeed helped the SMEs. In order to better facilitate their work resumption, the Ministry of Science and Technology is going to do the following 4 things. First, to implement the existing policies to encourage and facilitate work resumption. We hope to expand the coverage of the policy. In the pandemic, the relevant government authorities and agencies have already conducted the company-oriented online training courses. And secondly, we are now working together with the Financial Ministry and the relevant authorities to provide direct financial incentives and encouragement for the SMEs in science and technology. Thirdly, we are guiding the social capital to further finance the SMEs. Fourthly, we have provided more support to the relevant companies. The relevant encouraging measures have been adopted to facilitate technological training, human resource development, and also the equipment sharing from the universities and third-party research institutions to the companies. Firstly, we are innovating the measures to encourage the innovation in the SMEs. In terms of the contractual arrangement to encourage innovation, we have adopted the electronic formats to encourage and speed up the application. Okay, let's continue. On the left, on the second row, the second lady reporter, please. Thank you. With CETV, we found that affected by the pandemic, the China Innovation and Entrepreneurship Contest is for the first time moved online. So what are the relevant arrangements? We will have DG Bao to take your question. Thank you for your support to the contest. On March the 25th, for the first time, the Ministry of Science and Technology adopted the online format to conduct the 9th China Contest on Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Throughout the country, 1,157 companies and more than 200 investors or investment agencies engaged in this contest, and dozens of companies had the road show on the contest. Their business cover many new tech areas like diagnosis and treatment. Many of them have already been playing their roles in this pandemic response. In order to further encourage innovation and entrepreneurship, together with the sister agencies, the Ministry of Science and Technology is going to initiate another special project to guide the incubators, the university science parks, and etc., to help the companies adopt science and technology improve their capacity to serve the market. And second, for the double innovation agencies, we will provide an enabling environment. According to our data, in the first quarter of this year, nationwide, we found the relevant companies received 330 million RMB yuan as subsidy, and their real estate rents have also been subsidized. Moreover, the leaders and entrepreneurs of these companies have been supported with a sound environment. Furthermore, we will continue to conduct relevant activities with online and offline activities. We are going to conduct exhibitions, one-on-one match, and entrepreneurship training to improve the scientific components in such innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you. Due to the time constraint, we can only allow 2 more questions, please. On the left, on the front row, the second gentleman reporter, please. Thank you. With China Daily, after the outbreak of COVID-19, are there any negative impact on the major sci-tech projects? And what are the arrangements? We will have DG Zhang to take your question. Thank you. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19, many scientists and technological experts are directly engaged in pandemic response. Inevitably, the previous scientific arrangement was affected. To address this issue, the Ministry of Science and Technology has adopted 4 measures. The first one is we make timely adjustment to the existing projects. In mid-February, officially, the ministry worked out a policy notice for existing projects which are undergoing. Their deadline will be extended for 6 months. For core teams who are trapped in the epicenters, or the core teams are directly engaged in pandemic response, they can come to apply for an extension of the project scope or project timeline. And also for project management, there are appropriate adjustments made in the light of the pandemic response. Secondly, we have made orderly arrangement for new projects as the situation at home is improving. You may see that recently we have issued more than 40 new initiatives for this year. The guidelines for these specific initiatives have already been issued. At the central level, the budget for these projects reached more than 20 million RMB yuan. I would like to mention that the Ministry of Science and Technology has intensified the input into projects which are of direct bearing on people's well-being. We are now also working on the overall layout for the 14th five-year development plan, and there will be more input to scientific and technological projects. And secondly, we are providing facilitation services to minimize the pandemic impact.
We have relied on the online platform This initiative got started in 2011. The teams can be engaged in the national key science and technology project without stepping out of the province because they could apply online. And with the further progress of online technology support, enterprises can apply and for these projects and can be engaged in these projects without leaving their laboratory. They can apply directly online to grant the funding for a national research project. The application and vetting of these projects have been paperless, and all these can be conducted online. We are still exploring the application and vetting process of certain deficiency that could be made up later. Some of the stamps may not be chopped. Some of the materials may not be supplied or submitted timely, but these can wait for a further time and be provided later. And the fourth measure we've adopted was that we've issued a notice requiring local science and technology authorities, administration, to collaborate with relevant departments in the local government and make context-specific arrangements for the innovative businesses and create favorable environment to enable their resumption of business. Last question, please, journalist from the third row on the right side. Thank you. With Economic Daily, we know that after the resumption of business, the science and technology-based SMEs are still faced with many difficulties. What are the supportive measures from Zhongguancun Management Committee for these science and innovative businesses? Thank you for your question. As you have pointed out, SMEs are faced with many difficulties, bottlenecks, for example, in funding, in manpower, in supply chain. All these impediments and difficulties need to be addressed with support from the administrations. To implement the favorable policies from the central government. And apart from these favorable policies, our management committee have also adopted favorable policies. In the context of funding shortage, we've promoted an anti-COVID-19 preferential loan with a total value of 20 billion. Within 2 weeks, we have already granted 5 billion RMB in loan, and with an interest rate of 2.55%. We've also issued 430 million RMB of funding support to support talent recruitment. We've also reduced the rental cost of 170 million. 8,000 plus businesses have been covered by this favorable policy since February. In 3 batches, we've sent 170 anti-COVID-19 products. 130 plus of these high-tech-based products have been applied in the actual COVID-19 response. Policy interpretation and policy interpretation online training have been provided to help the businesses to turn crisis into opportunities, to mitigate the COVID-19 impact on university graduates' employment and the recruitment of business. Shortly before, we collaborated with some well-known online job websites and we've conducted 2 months of online recruitment job fairs. 460 plus businesses have participated with the provision of 8,900 jobs. We've received 10,000 plus CVs online. In general, the resumption of business in Zhongguancun Science Park have been accelerating, but we have to admit there has been major impact from COVID-19. Other brother and sister high and new tech parks have very forceful measures which we can learn from. Down the road, we'll continue to implement these favorable policies and improve our services provided to the high-tech businesses. We believe with the firm support from the central government, with the efforts of these businesses, these innovative and resilient businesses will realize their big potential of development, overcome the difficulties, and realize a stable and healthy development. I'd like to thank the guest speakers for taking the questions. Tomorrow we'll focus on food supply. During the COVID-19 response, we will have officials from Ministry of Agriculture and Food Reserve to take questions from the media. We look forward to your continuous attention to our press conference. We conclude today's press conference. Thank you.